I came across a post on Twitter talking about two of my favorite stories the other day. And this tweet got quoted to death, like bro got packed the hell up for the claim he made. The tweet said, and I quote, "Two of the greatest manga for high IQ individuals," and then it showed a picture of Bleach and a picture of Vagabond. And then they followed it up by saying, "I'm not kidding when I say you need a decent understanding of Buddhism, symbolism, philosophy, biology to understand the intricate plot lines that connect these complex yet delicate structures of non-orthodox, sophisticated, thought-provoking storytelling." A lot of buzzwords there, and of course it comes across as very pretentious, but it got me thinking, is the point he's trying to make completely wrong? Do you need to be well versed in all of these subjects outside of the story in order to fully understand the story itself? I primarily make content on anime and manga on this channel, but this specific topic isn't constrained to stories in a specific medium. Whether it's anime, manga, television shows, movies, or comic books, this idea of needing to know exterior information, like the references and cultures a certain story draws from, can be discussed. And that brings me to the title of this video. I think it's crucial to consider the thought process of the creator when analyzing any sort of story, and that of course includes the demographic of people the story is targeted towards. The fact of the matter is that storytelling is incredibly diverse because humanity itself is incredibly diverse. There are over 8 billion people alive today, which includes various different cultures, languages, religions, and lifestyles. And then there are universal things like the different branches of study, science and the social sciences, philosophy, history, and the humanities. And some that are crucial to this specific discussion are sociology and anthropology, specifically religion, cultural anthropology, and mythology. It's very easy for us to get caught in the bubble of our own communities, but with how integral the internet is to most of our daily lives now, we are exposed to multiple different ways of thinking. And for that reason, storytelling has evolved drastically over the last couple of decades. Because people have also evolved. We as humans are more interconnected than ever before. I can speak to someone on the other side of the globe in real time and learn about their life experiences. The way we have changed as people directly correlates with the ways the stories we produce have also changed. Stories have become more and more inclusive in the sense that they are easily accessible to all types of people, regardless of your background and knowledge on different branches of study. But it wasn't always that way, and it still isn't always that way. Target audiences are important to consider because certain age groups and certain cultures are expected to have a certain level of knowledge on certain topics. For example, a movie based on World War II like 2009's Inglourious Basterds can't provide a comprehensive experience to a person who has no prior knowledge on the history of the Second World War before watching the movie. It hinges on your knowledge of those things since it's a revisionist take on that period of history. But what about something more obscure, like the manga Vagabond, which is about the life of Miyamoto Musashi and is deeply ingrained in Buddhist philosophies? How many of us who don't live in Japan or any other Buddhist majority country is gonna have knowledge on that religion? Not many of us, and therein lies the problem and ultimate point of this video: target audiences. Vagabond is a Japanese manga about the most famous person in Japanese history, so it's obviously catered towards a Japanese audience. But it's my favourite work of fiction despite that, and I knew next to nothing about Buddhism before reading the manga. And that's possible because of how the story is presented, and how the exterior information serves as more of an accessory than an essential part. My personal take is that knowing these extra bits of information supplements the experience. It enhances your understanding and allows you to fully comprehend the story and the author's vision. But it should not be necessary. What should be necessary is for the creator to create a story that is understandable without hinging on that exterior information that not everybody might know. And there are cases where the story needs the audience to have some exterior information. In those cases, that should be included within the story itself. For example, let's take a quick look at another manga written by the same author of Vagabond. Slam Dunk is a Japanese manga about basketball, so again it's obviously catered towards a Japanese audience. But you also have to consider when this manga was being published. It was written and drawn in the early 90s, a time where basketball was almost unheard of in Japan. So Takehiko Inoue, in order to cater to his target audience, had to craft various scenarios in which he could explain the fundamentals of basketball, the several rules, positions, techniques and playstyles of the sport. This might be boring to read for somebody who lives in the US and understands basketball because they already have the prior knowledge, but for myself and the majority of the Japanese audience in the early 90s, this was absolutely necessary in order to understand the story itself. But if that same story was written today and targeted towards an American audience, all of these different scenes where basketball is being explained to the reader would not be included. They would be completely unnecessary. Your experience with a story should never be invalidated by lacking exterior knowledge, but on the other hand, being well versed in different influences that the creator takes from is always going to elevate any media experience. So I guess my final point would be that stories need to be designed in a way that allows for them to stand on their own and be accessible to a general audience, but they can and almost always will draw from sources of inspiration that can supplement the work if you familiarize yourself with them. When you really think about stories from a conceptual standpoint, they are the culmination of the creator's knowledge transformed into a story. Every life experience, every book they read, every conversation they've had, all of these things influences their writing both consciously and subconsciously. That's why people are so interested in the biographies of their favorite creators. The life they have led is reflected in their work. What do you guys think about this topic? Do you need to be well versed in all of these different branches of knowledge outside of the story in order to truly understand the story itself? And what do you think about my personal opinion? This video is very different to what I usually make on the channel, but it's the first of hopefully many general videos that aren't exclusive to a single story. With that being said though guys, thank you very much for watching and have an amazing day.